video, I'm going to go over the MapBox SDK with Flutter Flow. I do have an article going over this as well. So yeah, I guess the first thing you would need to do is get the public access token. And if you just go over, if you click on this link, and this is all on my website. But yeah, I'll put the link to that. But yeah, if you click on that link, they have the instructions on how to get the token. And so yeah, you just need that before we start. And next, so you can create a new, I guess one thing to add is I've submitted it here. Haven't got approved yet, so yeah. We're just waiting on that, but I'll go through all of the ways you can create it yourself. So yeah. So first, actually, we'll do this. So you just do add widget. I just did that. You'll give it a name, and I usually click that green button to add the boilerplate, and then we can start adding parameters. But I won't add them right here. I'll just go through them. What I have here. You'll notice we have less arguments, and so the reason is for that is MapBox. Some stuff is not built in, but there are ways to handle that. Yeah, but I'll make other videos for that. So these are the ones I have now. So pretty similar. So a place, a list of the place data type. And if you've watched my other videos or my articles, you'll understand that, but I can show it here. I have latitude, longitude, title, description, image URL, and lat long. Yeah, and the plan is to get rid of these and just use lat long. And also have functions to Firestore and Supabase functions to map those. But yeah. And yeah, if you want to add anything else, you would just change this. But you can also add or use this code pilot. It works pretty well. But yeah. What else? So really, this could be a lat long, center latitude, center longitude. Yeah, I should change that. I'll do that later. Oh, this is the wrong one. Yeah, I have the same thing here. We have zoom as a double, center latitude and longitude as a double. OnClickMarker. This is the same as the custom data type map, but yeah, it's exactly the same. So basically, this helps with whenever you click on a marker, it will return a place data type, whatever one you clicked on, and then we can use that wherever in your project. So I usually handle that, or yeah, the way I usually handle that is just creating another page state variable that saved to. And yeah, I'll do whatever action, maybe pass it to another widget or yeah. And then of course your public access token, you just add that. And then you'll need to add this dependency. And yeah, all of this is in the article. So if we go to break, I have all of that here. And then, yeah, I'll just walk through the code here as well. But I'll just walk through it here because it's formatted better, I guess. You can see colors and everything. But so it's pretty similar. So this code is really just loading. This one either loads the image from the network, depending on, I guess, HTTP in the path. This could be handled better, but yeah. If it doesn't, then it'll load it from your sets. And all you need to do is pass the image name. So you don't need to pass the sets path. And then load network image just downloads the image. Yep. And then what else? And so this, we're creating the point annotation manager, and that's what you use to create like custom markers. with the MapBox SDK. And yeah, and then here I have an point annotation click listener, and this is for handling whenever we click on the marker. So I have my I've created my own marker click listener here, and basically you have to implement it extends MapBox's on point annotation click listener, so I had to implement on point annotation click. The thing with this is I can't really set an ID when I create the point annotation, so the way I have to find it, this could be betterly. Yeah, maybe I'll put it in a map, and that way it's faster than just looping through it every time. But yeah, basically I'm looping through all of the places again and looking for the annotation that way. I mean the place that way, just matching the latitude and longitude. But yeah, we could use a map. I'm not sure what the key would be yet, but I guess maybe just a string of the latitude and longitude, comma delimited or something. I don't know. And then yeah, that will handle that. That way it'd be faster than just looping through it. We'll have direct access. But yeah, yeah, and this just handles, of course, right here. This is when we're passing the selected place back up to, I guess, your widget, wherever you're calling this from, and then you can handle whatever you want to do with it from there. And then this function just creates the markers every time. And did I even show? I'm not sure if I showed this yet. So let me scroll down. So I just zoomed in, but I don't have the key to. That's why it's black and white. I just forgot to add it, but it's still working for some reason. But yeah, it's I have the markers here. And another thing it doesn't have built in is the pop-up that Google has. So they call that the info window. But the way I handle that is just I just show dialogues. But yeah, and then of course you see we don't have zoom controls. That's not built in, but it's easy to build. I have another video for that already. But yeah, and then maybe that's why it's black and white. I put the light style. So yeah, maybe we can pass the style. Yeah, all of this does here is create the map. Yep. And then of course we're setting the center. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's similar to the other map widget. And yeah, all of the new stuff like zoom controls, the pop-up for this. What else? Oh, showing the user's location. It's kind of built in, but they do give you more control than Google does on that. Basically, the appearance of it. So it's not just a one-line change, but it's pretty simple. It can be a one-line change depending on how you want it to look. But if you want it to look like Google's, then it's more than that. So yeah, I'll put all of that on my Patreon. Yep, and I have a lot more videos. So Flutter map library, which basically lets you do tile map, and I have an example with MapBox as well, and I have polygons and a lot of other stuff that I'll put on my Patreon for both MapBox and Google and tile maps, any tile maps. Okay, and one other thing I'll show is just, I guess, the front end side, I guess you could say. But I have this state widget, data type items, and that gets, so if I go to the top level, and this is like the template that I have on FlutterFlow marketplace. But yeah, if you just click on the top level widget or just click on the outside of the canvas, and then you click on this state management tab, you'll see I have data type items, and that gets set from this action. I have other videos on this, but just in case you haven't watched those yet, I'll just go over this real quick. But basically, I have parallel actions, and really the only reason is because um, for Supabase and Firestore, so I'll just have one disabled and then one enabled. So right now I have Supabase enabled. In my other video before this, I went into depth on what those are doing. Basically, they're just querying the place table or place collection if you're on Firestore. And then I return this. I have a custom function. It uses that custom function I mentioned earlier to transform the Supabase rows into our data types, place data types. And then I'm updating the page state, the data type items I just showed with those items. Yep. And actually, I'll just go ahead and show because it's real simple. So I'll just have a backend call. This is for Supabase, but it's similar for Firebase. I have it just ordering by title, descending. Yeah, it's pretty much ascending, so it starts with alphabetical order. But yeah, anyways, then I have action output variable, Supabase places. On Firebase, I think Firestore places or something. Yeah, and then I have return value. So you have to, this is an action block, so you can add a return value by checking this. And then, first you would add, it's not there right now. Actually, I'll just do it. So I'll just go through everything again. Delete. So add return value, and then action outputs. And it's that Supabase places we defined in the backend call the action output. So we need to use our custom function. So create Supabase place list. And then we'll set that action output to, we're passing Supabase places to this function. And then, so that creates the data place list. And then from there, it passes it back here, which I call it the same thing. And then I'll just update the page state there. And then, that's how I get the places. So let's see. Action blocks. We'll go to design so you can see the parameters. But I also have, so let's go. Also have selected place as a page state variable, and that gets set from this action. So OnClickMarker is called whenever you click on a marker. Oh, I don't have it set here, but okay. I guess this is a good example. So add action. We're adding the callback. I thought it was something. Okay, let's just see. Page state management, update page state, add field, selected place, set value. Okay, callback parameters, and you'll click place. And yep. Yeah, I haven't set this, so I wonder why it's still building. I don't know, but then of course I need to make this latitude, longitude, but we'll keep that for now. But yeah, place comes from a place here, this parameter. So callback parameter, or action parameter, but callback parameter. But yeah, as the parameter, I added a parameter, action parameter, and I just made it place data type. I'll show this, but yeah, just for more clarification. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then it should just work fine from there. And yeah. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm trying to think, did I miss anything? Yeah, the full code is here too. So if you just go to my website, I'll put the link to this. I need to change these icons. That was when I wrote it. But yeah, if you have any questions, just send me an email or add a comment. And yep, see y'all later.